writers. Welcome back to your Monday Morning Jumpstart. We have another installment with Sandy Franks. Hi, Sandy Franks.
Hello.
The last couple of weeks, Sandy spoke about, how to moonshot your ideas, basically thinking outside the box and differentiating yourself. And then last week, we talked about Emily Weiss, who basically started just writing a blog from, experience that she was having and this knowledge that she had. And she built it and she was like listening to the audience and she created products from there and turned into $1 billion evaluation. So we got back to back now $1 billion evaluation. So no pressure for this week, Sandy. Why don't you tell us the story? I'm sure everyone is familiar with the crumble cookie. I feel like they're in every town now.
They probably are, yeah. And they are one of those billion-dollar companies.
Oh, phew, thank God. We didn't even make that criteria prior to, but thank goodness. Okay, so tell us the story of crumble cookie and how that began.
So Crumble Cookie was started by Sawyer Hemsley and Jason McGowan, and they're cousins.
Okay.
So Sawyer was the one, he was a student at a university, and he liked to bake cookies. So when he would come home from breaks, he would bake cookies with his mother, and she taught him all these ways to make cookies and stuff. So, but he was sort of like a little bit of an entrepreneur on the side because he was like inventing little things and trying to sell them. And then his cousin said, you know what? I like the way you think about business and you're always tinkering and creating things. Why don't we partner up and do something together? Because his cousin had a little bit of money, but they didn't know what they were going to do. And in fact, they even say, when you listen to interviews, they're like, we did everything backwards.
Wow.
So they didn't have a product idea. They were just sitting around thinking, what could we do? And then all of a sudden they were talking about cookies. And I think it was Sawyer was saying, my mom makes this delicious batch of chocolate chip cookies and they're so good. And they're like, here we are talking about cookies. Maybe that should be our business. We should make cookies. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. So they didn't have any experience in commercial baking.
Ooh.
So, but they had to go buy the machines, right? The big mixers. And they even say like the first couple times they used it, they're like, we had no idea what we were doing, but it was through trial and error they figured it out. And they experimented with different recipes. And they actually they would look for, they wanted a place to bake. So they found this like old, like kind of, not really kind of torn down in a way, like gas station.
Oh.
So they refurbished it to the point that they could use it as their place for baking the cookies. And so they were baking, and then it came down to making a chocolate chip. And then they had this, they were like, should we use semi-sweet or just regular chocolate chips? And they're like, I don't know which one, because they each favored one or the other.
Yeah.
So they said, well, why don't we do a taste testing? Why don't we bake the cookies and we'll take them to the public and say, which one do you like? And then whatever the public tells us, that's the one they use. And I think it was the semi-sweet that they liked the most. So they're like, okay, well, that's our cookie formula. We know we're going to make chocolate chip cookies. So they started making them. They're like, well, we're going to make them extra big too. And so they got this big cookie and they're like, we want people to really have a big giant cookie. And so they just started making these cookies. And the next thing you know, they had a line of people around the block that were waiting for them to open the doors so they could come in and get these cookies. Because that taste testing they had done
Oh.
got people talking about, hey, they're making these cookies. And so they started selling out cookies. And then I thought this was so very smart is they borrowed from the fashion industry or the music industry because, like the music industry will say there's a new album dropping next week.
Oh.
So they would say to people, a new cookie dropping next week, which got people excited to come back to the store to purchase more cookies. And so it just grew from there. And then they were buying more buildings, baking more cookies till it became a huge, phenomenal success. So basically, it's almost like they took their passion, for baking cookies and being an entrepreneur and mixed them together and created this huge business, which, as you said, probably everybody knows
Yeah.
crumble cookie now.
Yeah. I also think what they've done, and it doesn't, I don't know if it was like this originally or if it's maybe changed over the last few years. I don't know how long it's been around, but and now when you go to the store, it's also almost like an experience, right? Because I don't even know if you can, first off, I don't know if you can even buy one cookie anymore. I think it's maybe it's one or four, right? So that's
Yeah.
genius in of itself because there's multiple flavors every month. Like you said, they change out. So if you want to try more than one flavor, you're buying four cookies, right? And then they have you choose them, and it's not like a regular cookie shop where it's like, okay, here is the store with like all the cookie options, right? They go in the back, and maybe they do, but maybe they don't. But I don't know. But a fresh cookie, like your batch is fresh, right? And they'll like present it to you, and they're like,
Yes, the
look good, right?
packaging.
Yeah, yes. And it's like, oh yeah, like I mean, what are you gonna say? No, but it's like, wow, look, like this is made just for you. Here's your presentation. Are these the ones you chose? Are we happy with, and then they box it up and so it always creates the line as well, right?
Hmm.
The perception of it being fresh. It's got the timeliness to it as well, because every month, there's going to be different ones,
Yep.
and I don't think that part of their marketing has changed, but also then like the perceived value of a fresh cookie that's made
Yes.
just for you, even though 10 people behind you are getting the same
Exactly.
exact thing. It's just that feeling of, oh my gosh, this is my cookie for made for me, so
Right.
so smart.
It's they create such a great user experience.
Yes,
And I think that's something that our readers can take away from this too, is that if you can help your client
yes,
create that great user experience with their products and services, then it's all good from there. And
yes,
so I think that's something that you can focus in. But also I think the takeaway too, as I said earlier, is like they just follow their passion. He liked baking cookies and they talked about it. So I think for us, it's like as writers, follow your passion. If you want to be a writer, there is nothing holding you back to be
yeah,
a writer. In fact, I think the breaking into the writing business is extremely easy these days. It's probably one of the easiest things to break into is writing.
yeah,
There's no upfront cost for writing.
yes. There's
You
no
know,
breaking these days, right?
exactly. So I think if you really want to be a writer, then just follow that passion to be a writer and start
Yeah,
writing.
yeah,
And then you move from there into getting clients. Or if you don't want to have clients, you can create your own writing thing and pay yourself to write
yeah,
because
yeah.
of all the resources that are available.
I wonder what you think about this. I interviewed Mark Ford last week, and he's kind of an iteration of his life right now, where he's trying to help as many people as possible be successful, right? Because and build wealth and build like real like legacy wealth. And I asked him, like, because he's helped so many people, like, what is the differentiating factor that he has seen for the people that are successful and that those that it just stays the same, right? That they don't make the jump. And he said the courage to be bad at something, right?
Mhm.
And do you think about like how that even applies to this, right? They were testing and trying the cookies, and they had to try out, the big batch, and obviously the first time they did the thing, it wasn't perfect, right? And I think even I'm sure if I had to look at your collection of on Substack, that you've improved and it's gotten better, and you've learned to finesse it, and you've learned to change it, but you did it even though there was a chance you could have been bad at
Yes.
it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like it's like
absolutely.
have the courage to be bad at something, and that's not failing. It's just like it's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be the best it could possibly be, like out the gate, but then you'll get there.
You'll get there, or you certainly will get there. When I worked for Agora, Bill
Yes.
Brenner used to have this saying of fail quickly. It was okay to fail, but just do it quickly so you don't waste a lot of time and resources and you can move to the next idea. So just failure is fine. You're going to learn something from it, but fail quickly and then
Yeah.
move to the next thing. And I think that's still appropriate today.
My husband he's a golfer, and he has a shirt that says "Miss it quickly." It's like you don't hit the ball well, just keep it moving, keep it moving. There's a line of golfers behind you. You got to keep it going. And like I think the more you sit in it, the worse it is, right? But if you just
Exactly.
like go on to the next one, and that's what I mean, tie even into last week with ideas, right? Or maybe the week before, but like you can create this. There's literally a limitless amount of ideas that you can create, and if the first one doesn't land, there's the next one, and
There's an
then
excellent,
right,
exactly.
the opportunities are endless.
The opportunity is endless, and eventually you'll find the one that sticks because
Exactly.
your readers will tell you, "Oh, I love this." And then you've got your direction and
Yeah.
you just move forward in that direction.
Yeah, I mean,
And
even Sandy, not that you failed at anything, but you've had many iterations of your career, somewhat within the same sphere, right? But it's like the way that it's looked has never been the same. It doesn't seem for like a super long period at a time, which I'm sure is also the fun of it too, I would imagine.
absolutely, I find writing is absolutely fun. And, I call it my hot newsletter. And I put a lot of time into it. Sometimes I think, why am I doing this? But it's just like, I can't help myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to write and I'm going to do it as long as I can do it. I have the time besides watching a bunch of grandkids. I
Did
have
you
the
say watching a bunch of TV shows?
time. So I think it's one of the most, being a writer, I think is one of the most fulfilling careers someone could have. And
Yeah,
so I just want to encourage everyone to write, just write, get it out there and start writing because you don't know where it will take you.
yeah, yeah. And it's how fun and exciting to have something that so many like you can generate ideas, you can be creative, it'll always be evolving, and who knows what it will iterate into as well, like what your $1 billion business is going to one day look like or be, you never know. But it's so exciting. So thank you, Sandy, for
You're
sharing your
so
stories.
welcome.
If you want more stories from Sandy, go to Just One Good Idea on Substack or come into the AWAI world. We have a ton of Sandy in our world, thank goodness, lucky for us. But it's always such a joy to speak with you, Sandy, and I feel wiser for it. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. It was great to be here. I love sharing these stories, and I hope that everyone got some takeaway that they can use and start using that now today.
Now today, amen. Alrighty, writers, we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.